Well, that was an absolute joke from the Miami Dolphins and Mike McDaniel as the Fins lose their third straight game and go to 1-3 on the season after a 31-12 victory by Tennessee. And the story of this game is just pure, I don't know, laughing. Like, it's hard to imagine a worse start for the Miami Dolphins in 2024. And I get it. Tua Tagovailoa is out. He's not playing in this game. But some of the undisciplined football, some of the poor decision-making, some of the penalties, the missed opportunities that we saw from the Miami Dolphins, it's hard to imagine that it would be much better than that, even if you had Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback, because some of these play calls were an absolute joke. And listen, you didn't lose the game on 2 fourth-down attempts, but there were 2 times in this game where it was 4th and 1. 4th and 1. And you go for it, which was the right decision, but the play calls, an end around the Tyreek Hill, and then a halfback sweep read option to Devon Achane. How about you get north and south, Mike, and stop going east-west, because it's simply not working. And with a defensive line in Tennessee that was without its best player in Jeffrey Simmons, you were simply unable to run the football. Running it 30 times for 106 yards. It's an average of 3.5 yards. But if you take away Tyler Huntley scrambling it a couple times for 30 yards, it's more like 28 carries for 100 or for 70 yards. Just a pure joke of a display. There was no game plan. There was no thought process from Mike McDaniel. And if I'm going to be honest, folks, I have a serious concern about Mike McDaniel's ability to coach this football team long term. You might be able to say he's a good offensive mind. Maybe. But his decision-making, play calling, and ability to lead this football team is in serious question if you're asking me. And I am almost kind of regretting the Dolphins extending Mike McDaniel before the season, before 2028. It's not my money, but I don't know if the Dolphins should have him around locked in since 2028. And sure, we can ask this question. It might be premature, but what would you do with Mike McDaniel? Would you fire him or would you keep him? I don't know if I would fire him just yet, but you know what I would do? I think I would strip his play calling duties away because it simply just has been not good enough through 4 games of the season. And it's really hard to really just believe that this season is going the way it is going. I mean, I thought this team had a serious chance to make the playoffs, to win the AFC East, to fight for home field advantage. Did I think they were going to win the Super Bowl? No. But I think they can threaten making it there if fully healthy. But even when the Dolphins were fully healthy, and even when they had Tua Tagovailoa through 7 quarters of football, as he left late in that 3rd quarter on Thursday Night Football, they still only scored 30 points. They still weren't playing at a high level. It was still not good offense. It wasn't a clean procedure. They are the only team in the National Football League to not hold a lead. It's week 5 coming up. They have played 4 games. 12 quarters. 16 quarters. And they have yet to hold a lead. This is embarrassing football by Mike McDaniel and company. And it's simply on the coaching staff. You can blame the players all you want, but sometimes you got to look at who's running the team. Like, here's my issue. The play calling, the designing, your 2 best players are these 2 guys right here, Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle. 4 catches each. Don't even look at Tanner Connor. He had 2 catches, 15 yards in the final 2 plays of the game. But I also can't completely absolve these 2 because you know what Tyreek Hill did on the first possession of the game for the Miami Dolphins? They were driving. The Dolphins, Emmanuel Ogbah, intercepted Will Levis on the opening drive. And then the Dolphins are going down the field. It's 2nd and 9 at the Titans' 30-yard line. They run a swing pass to Tyreek Hill, and he damn dropped the football. And it happened to be a backward pass, and the Titans recovered it. Like, that's a drive killer. That's a momentum killer. Even if the Dolphins only end up getting 3 there, you jump out to a 3-0 lead, and the entire game is changed. But your best player, the person who was voted the #1 player in all of football by his peers, by his former NFL colleagues, current NFL colleagues, voted him #1 player in football, dropped it. And then you want to bitch and moan on the sideline that you're not getting the football and the offense can't move it. How about you do something about it, Tyreek? Sure, did Huntley miss you on a couple deep balls that would have changed the game in the second half? Yes. But also don't drop a football that is coming like this to you, and you just drop it. I can catch a freaking pen. Make the play. Come on, yeah. You know what? Hands. Tyreek Hill. Ridiculous. What's not ridiculous is game time, the #1 way to get your tickets. And if you want to go watch the Dolphins play for the rest of the year, go ahead. But if you want to go to a comedy show, a concert, theater, also make sure you use Game Time because it's the easiest way to get it.
Rolly, I'll also add, if you want to go to a comedy show, you could get tickets to a Dolphins game.
I would agree with that sentiment. And with you use Game Time Picks, a new feature from Game Time, it makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. All-in pricing, another great feature. Toggle this feature to make sure you see your total price of the ticket up front and you don't get surprised by fees at checkout. You can also see a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy so you're not getting any fugazi when you're purchasing the tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Someone should tell the Miami Dolphins that it's time to play some football because they have simply not been good enough. And it's unfortunate. I believe that the Dolphins could really make a run here because Tua is eligible to return in NFL Week 8 against the Arizona Cardinals the next time Miami plays a game at Hard Rock Stadium. Because over the next 3 weeks, they have a game in New England this upcoming Sunday. They have a Week 6 bye, and they come out of the bye Week 7 in Indianapolis. And Tua has already missed 2 of the 4 mandated games since he's been placed on IR. And listen, maybe I'll try to provide some optimism here. I'll try to provide some hope for y'all because technically, if the Dolphins go 2-0 over the next 2 games, beat the Colts, who are not a good football team, they beat the Patriots, who are not a good football team, they can be 3-3 when Tua returns, and you have a chance to keep the season alive. But it's hard to try to instill that confidence in you guys as well because I've lost the confidence. I feel like I've been very optimistic for the Miami Dolphins, even with Tua out, because with the schedule against Tennessee, who is 0-3 coming into this game, and then you let them abuse you, beat you by 19 points. You put together no offense. That is supposed to be Mike McDaniel's play calling, his calling card. And it was a disaster on Monday Night Football. If you were able to win this game, you're 500 with 2 games before Tua returns, and all you had to do was split New England and Indianapolis, and you'd be back in it. And sure, they still can go 2-0 and be 3-3 with Tua returns and still be alive. But it's hard to feel confident about that. It really is. Because when you watch this Dolphins team, what tells you that they're going to be able to win football games? Especially with 2 games coming up against bad teams, but although they're on the road. It's quite a disappointment for sure, and I just can't have it. I'm sick of it. We got some injury news to talk about before we get out of here on today's show, but I do want to get your one-word reaction to the Monday Night Football loss. We asked you if they should fire or keep Mike McDaniel. Now I'm going to ask you the one word from this game. Disheartening is my word. Disheartening. Don't even know what to think anymore. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we're not going anywhere. Even though the Dolphins stink, we're still going to have daily videos, sometimes 2 videos a day on news, rumors, everything around this team, and we're still going to be live for every game as well. So make sure you hit that sub button. But some injury news to talk about because, unfortunately, Jaelan Phillips left this ball game. And it's tough. Obviously, Phillips coming back from an Achilles injury that he tore in, was it Week 10, Week 12 last season on Black Friday against the New York Jets. But it wasn't an Achilles injury. It was a knee injury. And it looked relatively non-contact. I don't want to speculate, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But Jaelan Phillips did leave this game late in the second half, and he did not return. And before we get out of here, I guess I'll read off some quick quotes from Mike McDaniel because I think these are intriguing, and I want to talk about them before I leave. Mike McDaniel said, "There is a major disconnect between preparation and execution. That's on you. Do not blame the players. Blame you. Terrible. On Tyler Huntley's performance, I didn't think his teammates around him at times did what they needed him to do. Thank you. Jaylen Waddle with a drop. Offensive line struggled to block on halfback sweeps and tosses. Tyreek Hill with the fumble. Brutal. Jaelan Phillips has a brace on his leg, but doesn't know more. Sounds like there will be a MRI coming tomorrow. Also, McDaniel said the playbook was abbreviated to an extent for Huntley tonight. I don't care. And he also said everything's on the table when it comes to changing things offensively. You know what, Mike? You should probably give up play calling. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say it with my chest. I think it's time for Mike McDaniel to give up play calling. At least see what happens if you go to Frank Smith, their current offensive coordinator, who doesn't call plays but goes into the preparation execution. I don't know. Something's got to change because I can't deal with what we've been watching over the past 2.5 weeks. Simply can't do it. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Like I said, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we're going to break down everything on the Miami Dolphins on a daily basis, even if they stink. And we'll be live tomorrow on Overreaction Tuesday, if you will, and live again on Sunday for Week 5. Subscribe. I'll see you there.